Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I bring you founders, entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, artists, creative, and amazing people all over the world. And today I have another amazing person from all over the world. He is the CEO of a company called Cupcake. His name is Chris Liquin. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jamil. Tuning in here from sunny Chicago. I think we're finally getting that Chicago summer, so it's a great day.
Nice, nice. We had the Connecticut summer yesterday, 80 degrees. Can't complain.
Love it.
Welcome. Let's kick things off and ask you first. What is your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I saw this question. It reminded me a bit of a quote from Steve Jobs that I'll butcher, but the idea is, you can only connect the dots in reverse. So I've had an interesting background, but I think every day that I work on Cupcake, I'm realizing just how much cool stuff I can pull in from, the background that I've had for the last kind of 2.5 years before I joined Cupcake. And I joined Cupcake as CEO in January. So the 2.5 years prior to that, I was working for Gary Vee at Vayner3. It was a consulting firm that was working with Fortune 500s. The Pepsis, the Budweisers, the Red Bulls, Coinbases, Crocs of the world, all about, dipping their toe into Web3, right? Understanding crypto culture, understanding how NFTs, how tokens could play a role in their consumer marketing. And so during that time, I was head of strategy, had a nice little strategy team, and we were working with these brands on, first the long-term vision for how NFTs played a role in consumer marketing, but then also, activating, right? We had put an NFT in a Super Bowl ad with Bud Light. We had Budweiser make the first purchase of an ENS domain. They bought beer.eth is kind of a cool moment when brands were starting to understand the culture, understand the power of, decentralized identity. We tokenized whiskey with Johnny Walker, where consumers could buy a token, and then as the whiskey aged, they would wait and then redeem that token for an actual physical bottle of whiskey. So we did some very cool stuff with those brands. We had a ton of good partners, at these big companies. There were, advocates, evangelists, but, we had to get through the IT team, the tax team, the legal team. And, it was a little bit of pushing a boulder uphill. We did some very cool experiments on the way to that long-term vision, but the long-term vision is still 5-10 years away. And I was ready to come, ship something now. And so that was kind of how I got, into Cupcake was, I met some folks here in Chicago, a great venture studio, B&J Studios, and they were like, hey, we're ready to take, the greatest hits album of all the stuff we've done at enterprise scale and bring it into the thinking, here at Cupcake. Real quick, prior to the Vayner3 stuff, I was in kind of traditional corporate strategy. I was at a company called KPMG. It's one of the big four accounting and consulting firms. And we did, there I was in their tech and media team. So we were working on, BuzzFeed's IPO. We were working on Warner Media and Discovery merger. We did some stuff with Box.com out in Silicon Valley about, data-driven marketing stuff. And all that stuff was fantastic, a great foundation, for my early career. But not nearly as innovative on the frontier of the internet where I am today. So it's all been kind of building in this innovation direction. And I think the space needs more business-minded people who have gotten beat up by the CEO of Pepsi or the chief strategy officer at KFC and said, hey, what's the ROI? What's the sustainable, durable business model around tokens? I think the crypto space needs that. We have so many cool experiments, but not enough real sustaining businesses that can weather the storm and ride the waves of each cycle. So that's what we're trying to build with Cupcake. And yeah, that's my background.
Very cool. Well, the industry has somebody like that, but he's hosting podcasts.
There you
go. So, Cupcake, what is it all? Well, that's a part of it. What's it all about? What makes it a unique game changer in the space?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think the whole premise for Cupcake is this idea that there's not enough things to do in crypto for the crypto curious, right? Right now we have, the crypto natives who are degening, right? They're gambling, they're speculating, they're trading meme coins, they're airdrop farming. And that's working right now. That's sustaining, the meme coins, the Bitcoin ETF, those are big parts of the meta of this cycle. But when I think about the crypto curious, I go home, talk to my mom, my sister, my cousins, even my friends who have they've heard my blockchain spiel, right? They've done their own research. They've learned about what the blockchain is. They probably have a Coinbase account. They got some Bitcoin in their wallet. But then they say, like, what can I do? And I don't really have a good answer for them because those people are not traders, gamblers, speculators in their real life, right? They might be on, Duolingo, they might be on TikTok, they're sharing, they're commenting, they're engaging on internet culture, but they're not ever going to be the type of user that crypto is really designed for right now. So I think we need to build products if we want to attract those users that feel familiar and feel like something that is understandable, right? Right now, crypto is pretty clunky. You got to have a seed phrase, a wallet. You got to learn new technologies, new tools, new terms. And I think what we want to build is an experience that feels really simple for the crypto curious, but starts to dip their toe in, the idea of decentralized ownership, decentralized identity. And so what we're building with Cupcake is a social game on Solana. You play social games like Would You Rather, Truth or Dare, this or that, right? Like fun little party games all about crypto culture in the beginning. You're collecting cupcakes as you play the game. And as you level up, you're collecting rarer and rarer cupcakes. And then those cupcakes are unlocking prizes and rewards. And we have, various partners that are providing prizes. So we just got approved by the Bonk DAO, which is super exciting. And so you can imagine you're playing Bonk trivia, you're climbing the Bonk leaderboard, you're collecting the Bonk cupcake, and then you're earning Bonk. You're getting airdrops of Bonk. So for a user, that's an awesome way to kind of understand, engage in crypto in a safe, easy way, actually earn rewards based on your engagement. And for Bonk, it's new wallets, right? It's new ways to kind of propagate the meme, right? Bonk's, whole purpose is to be, the next Dogecoin. And, how do you get on Saturday Night Live? How do you get Elon Musk tweeting about you like Dogecoin is? Well, you need more people to understand Bonk, its history, its lore. So it's, somewhat a discovery tool for partners, but first and foremost, it's a fun social game. And we've seen awesome early success. We launched like 2 weeks ago. And in those 2 weeks, we've had 12,000 users. We've had 1.5 million games played. We got 100 plus countries playing. So we're super global. And we have a lot of work to do, right? We launched a really scrappy MVP version of the product. We just wanted to ship something, start getting feedback. But we really feel like we have a really critical mass of a group of users who are giving us feedback. They're excited to play the games and they're coming back. And so as we, keep shipping product features, keep making this thing more social, more viral, keep making the games more relevant and timely to what's happening in crypto, we're off to the races.
I hear that sometimes. I hear people say they want to be the next Doge, right? And Bonk wants to be the next Doge. I get that. Doge, that has merged mining with Litecoin, which brings Litecoin, value, the hash rate up, and has dramatic improvement in addition to the Litecoin the mining, right? So, Bonk, how does that support the Solana in the same way, or does it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think what you're pointing out with Doge and Litecoin is just the strength of ecosystem partners, right? The idea that you can have your core project and then be partnered with 6 other companies and on chain kind of coordinate and work together and create value. So I think we're just one, and I won't speak for Bonk, but I think we're a fun new way to engage with the meme, right? So for consumers, it's a fun way to learn and earn. And we've talked with them about longer term having more mechanics that sort of actually accrue value to the token. But for now, it's just top of funnel discovery. And I think there's probably more sophisticated ways we can partner with them, that actually influence the token mechanics as well.
I think there should be. I think there will be. I see a parallel. So that's good. I want to talk about Culturefy. All right. What is Culturefy all about?
Yes.
What are the engagement and how do you help people understand it better?
Awesome. Yeah. Culturefy. That is what Cupcake is. I think we're category defining on this one. I think crypto has such a rich culture, right? Crypto is a technological revolution, but it's also a cultural one around art, around music, around fashion, around sports, right? We've seen so many cool, use cases of crypto that touch all areas of culture, right? And what is so interesting about culture is it's ephemeral, right? It moves so quick, whether it's the next trend, the next tribe, the next meme, the next meta. it's moving so quickly in this space because everyone participating in crypto is trying to innovate, right? We're still kind of a technology that's continuously as an industry finding product market fit. And that's created, a very interesting layer of creativity, culture, and expression. And so what Culturify is it's creating and capturing that value. So I mentioned these social games, right? And for now, we have pretty simple ones, right? Which meme coin are you more bullish on, this or that? Buy, sell, burn. It's a parallel of a game called, F, Marry, Kill. We call it buy, sell, burn. And you're taking NFTs, you're taking crypto projects, and you're sorting them into, which would you buy, which would you sell, which would you burn? We have, two truths and a lie, but it's all about crypto facts, crypto lore. And so those are simple games that kind of catch some of that cultural value. Right now, if you miss a trend or if you miss the meme because you're not on crypto Twitter that day, you've kind of missed the thing, right? And I think what we're trying to do is build a platform that captures kind of all that cool conversation. I think, earlier this week, CryptoPunks dropped a new collection, and that's all over crypto Twitter. Everyone's talking about CryptoPunks and this new art behind the project, and a lot of people are, bullish. A lot of people are bearish, right? And I could see a very fun game where you're, getting to express your vote, on something like that. I think in the future, we're looking to offer a little bit more advanced games around culture where you're actually, maybe making a little prediction or a little call. Do you think, the price of Solana is going to be 200 by Friday? Or do you think this meme coin is going to flip that meme coin, right? And you're able to actually have a little bit of prediction, because I think what's so interesting about culture is kind of knowing what's next, right? And I think we want to give users the ability to kind of express, what they think about the space and actually, have that part of their identity. Hey, I'm good at kind of picking the next trend, picking the next meme. And I use the phrase a lot, like celebrate crypto culture. I think a lot of the social apps in crypto today are like monetized social capital, right? You can invest in influencers, you can invest, in compete with, who's going to do better on Twitter. I think for us, it's all about celebration. It's all about having an active role in shaping culture. And I think that scales beyond crypto. Right now, we're very focused on crypto culture, celebrating crypto culture and building Culturify. But people have the same excitement and passion in a ton of different little niches, whether it's fashion, whether it's gaming, whether it's just broadly internet culture. And so I see us starting in crypto and really getting this right. But long term, I could see, these would you rather, truth or dare kind of style games being relevant across any type of cultural, little niche, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I'm just really bad at it. I missed Pepe last year. I missed pork. I missed dog with hat. I missed every single. I wasn't looking at it, but a lot of people are looking at it. And a lot of people in college are like buying these meme coins, and it's building a culture at the younger level, like college level, high school too, I think. So, and then I think about it, social experiences. Okay, why? And I want to ask you this because you're much better than me. Why and how are social experiences the best way to onboard the next 100 million people into crypto?
Yeah, absolutely. And I alluded a bit to this, but I think social experiences right now are just so much more familiar than financial experiences, right? If you think about where I'm spending my screen time, where you're spending your screen time, where anyone is spending their screen time, it's it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on TikTok, it's on Wordle, it's on these like fun kind of familiar social games, and traditional sort of Web2 social media. So people are used to seeing content and liking it or voting on it or commenting on it. And I think if we want to attract that next tranche of sort of crypto users, forget about like the full mainstream adoption, but just the people who are curious but can't participate. I think we need to build those kind of familiar experiences with some level of blockchain component on the back end powering the rewards economy, for example. I think also the Web2 platforms are a little bit broken, right? We talked a lot when I was at Vayner. We talked a lot about this idea of doom scrolling, and you have people just kind of doom scrolling through a feed on TikTok. They're not really engaging. They're not really happy, but they're just kind of locked into the scroll, right? You're scrolling through Instagram, through other people's photos. And it's just not, it's like an addicting experience, but it's not a very fulfilling one. And I think one of the things that we want to add on to Web 2, the user experience there, is this idea of like active consumer experience. Right now, I think like 4% of users like, comment, click, share a TikTok video, and TikTok has one of the highest engagement rates. That's 4%. That means 96% of people, they see a TikTok video and they just swipe on to the next. They're not doing anything. And what we want to create, with our platform with Cupcake is it puts you as the main character. You're choosing this or that. You're choosing would you rather. And when you have people who are very active, and participating in that culture, you get the viral hits, right? You get Wordle, you get Flappy Bird, things that like people are actively playing, they're actively competing. You get Candy Crush, right? It's things that have a small user base, but they're a very active one and they're very excited about it. And so it feels like it's everywhere on your social media, right? People are talking about things all the time. So I think when we incentivize that active user behavior, we'll get that flywheel around community growth.
I like the positive experiences part. The experiences part that I don't like is the rug pulls,
Sure.
the bridge hacks, the let's create 1,000 different versions of this one particular meme and people have to guess which one it is the right one. How do
Yes.
we limit those experiences? How can we fix that?
Yeah, I think in general, crypto has a lot of work to do in user experience, user safety. And I think, all we can do as Cupcake is try and build that, wreath on the front door of crypto that welcomes people in. It's hard to be with all the scams, with all the fraud, people are scared to lose their seed phrase, to send a transaction to the wrong address, right? Nobody is scared of a cupcake, right? And we have partnered with a company called TipLink, where you can actually just one-click sign on with Google, your Google email address, and it spins up a wallet on the back end that you now have access to through your Gmail. So we're using, the best-in-class partners, best-in-class technology to try and kind of make that experience feel safe, feel friendly. As you're collecting cupcakes through our game, they're going into your TipLink wallet, but you can see them, on Cupcake in your bake shop, right? So you go over to your bake shop and you see your cupcakes on a shelf. And, if you want to be a more advanced user, take your TipLink wallet, you can connect it to an NFT marketplace like Tensor, and then go trade your cupcakes and do some of the more advanced gameplay. But Cupcake itself will always be, that simple experience that's friendly, that's fun, where you can't get rug pulled on Cupcake. You can't get scammed here because it's really just a fun social game where you're getting, NFTs as rewards. So I think there will always, we'll want to take advantage of the interoperability of blockchain so people can take their Cupcake wallet and go do things elsewhere in the ecosystem. But I think we want to be the fun, friendly, safe place. And I think we need more companies that want to represent that in the space, because you're completely right. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of, bad actors. And I think we've come such a long way. I've been, following the space since 2016. And, it's dramatically improved. The user experience is dramatically improved, but we still have a lot of work to do.
And the learning experience has improved too.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, about the user experience. Okay. So and the degen mindset, right? So we want people to actively engage with the degen culture. I think there was 1 million new meme coins that came out last month, some astronomical crazy number, right? So I want to find out, first of all, how people can develop their own degen mindset to help them become better social investors. Do that first.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great question. I mean, I think the degen mindset is a learning experience. It's a fun learning experience. And I think it spits out all this culture, right? The degens that are focused on the next meme coin or talking about the next airdrop are they're excited about experimenting and tasting new technology just as much as they are, excited about profits, right? And I think what I've learned, over the last several years, really deeply engaging on crypto Twitter, is that it's such a narrative driven space. There's, a lot of these projects don't have fundamentals, right? Even some of the most mature blockchain like Ethereum, it's hard to place a value on it based on its cash flow, right? You're not doing a discounted cash flow analysis quite yet. So how do you invest? How do you think about what's next? How do you think about what's going to do well, what's not? And I think it's having a cultural understanding of the narratives in the space and being able to weigh those against what else is being built, understanding how the crypto ecosystem or any given L1 and its little mini ecosystem, or even an L2 and its little mini ecosystem, how does that play within the broader space? And I think you need to understand the narratives and understand the builders, understand the people building these things, understand the teams. And that's all culture, and culture is told through stories. And so I think, you can right now, the best way to do that, unfortunately, is to get on crypto Twitter, to follow, the right accounts, to spend all your time just reading through and, trying to pick out the gems of wisdom from the right storytellers. But it's like a fractured experience. You got to go over to Discord, or maybe you're, also have friends in alpha chats on Telegram. You're all over the place. And I think what we're trying to do is bubble up the most interesting, salient, relevant parts of that discourse that's happening in such a fragmented way, and kind of make it more accessible. So at least people can understand that it exists. At least people can, again, celebrate, have fun, understand the memes, even if I'm not, checking the charts of Bonk versus Whiff versus Pepe versus Normie, at least I can understand that they exist. I can see that logo and be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. And then the more I learn, the more I understand, the more I get my foot in the door on places like crypto Twitter, then you can start to really dive in and do your own research. But I think, you have to be willing to put in the time. And right now you have to put in a lot of time. There's just a very steep learning curve. And so I think what we're trying to do is soften that learning curve. There's still going to be a learning curve. You can't invest money without doing your own research. But I hope it can get a lot easier.
I've written a number of books, and the last three books are part of a series where the crypto is more than just dog, cat, sloth, meme coins, right? 2 months ago, I said these things have no value. That's when I wrote the first version, and by the third volume, I'm like, these things have a lot of value on a social level, and maybe it's just like I didn't get into it initially because I've always been the guy who avoids the big social situations, right? So even if you're somebody who avoids social situations, you're the guy across the room from the bar instead of at the bar with everybody. How can they start to develop to embrace the possibility of what they can do with meme coin culture?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right that it's and not or, right? I think, I mentioned this earlier, it's a technological revolution, but it's also a cultural revolution, right? The blockchain. And blockchain has very immediate and powerful use cases in finance, but it also can impact a host of other applications, whether it's decentralized identity, whether it's even supply chain, whether it's healthcare. There's so many ways that this foundational technology can influence the world. And I think of social and what's happening in kind of that Web3 realm as just one piece of that puzzle. And I think the best way I've heard this spoken about is probably from Chris Dixon, who talks a lot about the progression from Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3. And I think it's very similar to the internet, where the internet, in Web 1, you were kind of just publishing information, right? You were just putting your magazine article. Now it's online, and a lot of the early websites looked like magazine articles. And it would have been easy to say, okay, the internet is really just good for publishing information, right? But then, Web 2 came about, social platforms, mobile happened, and now you could put information online, but users could also put their own comments and information online. And so you suddenly had this movement from just reading information to reading and writing information in Web 2. And it would have been easy to say, okay, the internet is just for, in Web 1, it's just for Amazon, right? It's just for selling books online or something. In Web 2, okay, it's just for, having social dialogue online. Now in Web 3, I think it's a whole new level of ownership over that social dialogue, where a lot of companies are experimenting with sort of data and data ownership, right? I think a big flaw of Web 2 is that users don't have access or control over their data, their followers. If the product is free, right, you're probably the product, and all of our data is getting monetized by platforms like the Facebook and TikToks. And so Web3, on a foundational level, can offer users that control over their data. So folks who may be a little more skeptical or a little more concerned about the social stuff that happens in Web2, maybe now can have a more private or a more owned experience on platforms like the Farcasters of the world. And then I think, like I said, earlier with Cupcake, you're kind of the main character of a platform like ours, right? You're selecting which meme coins you like. You're choosing in different scenarios, would you rather buy, sell, burn? And so one of the things that we're focused on is having it be fun in single player mode, right? It's a social game. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to spark conversation and controversy. There's ways to interact socially on our platform, but we also want it to just be a fun game that you'd play like Candy Crush or like Duolingo, right? Those are single player games for the most part. They're helping you understand, right? Duolingo, you're learning a new language. Candy Crush, maybe you're killing time on the subway. But it's a useful, fun social tool that you can play with, and then you can share with your friends. You can have the social competition. So I think kind of taking a long view on the progression of the internet. I think the blockchain will not be for any one use case. I think it has use cases well beyond just finance or just the things you see today. There's a lot of applications, and I think for Cupcake specifically, we're very focused on that active social experience with blockchain based rewards.
I like it. I agree with you. My concern mostly around the meme coins and around the reward coins and is oversaturation of the market, right? Like I said, there was a million meme coins last month. Is there going to be like more meme coins than there are people in crypto? And how do we deal with the oversaturation of that?
Yeah, it's like the question right now on the meme coin front. I mean, I think they're it's still early days for meme coins. I think to me, that some people say, oh, they found product market fit. Others say, they're not a finished product yet. We're still figuring out how meme coins play a role because clearly the genie is out of the bottle on meme coins. They're not going away, but we have to figure out the use for them. And I think the best kind of metaphor that I've thought about for meme coins is kind of like hashtags with native value, right? And hashtag was just like a representation of a trend or of an attention or whatever. And now we can just put value on that trend, right? On that meme. And so we never said like, oh man, there's too many hashtags. We just said what hashtags are trending today? What are people talking about? What are people caring about, today on Twitter? And you can measure that based on hashtags. Now they just have value associated with them, right? So now you can speculate, hey, I think this meme or this piece of conversation is going to be, more important in the future. And so I'm going to put my money there. Or I think, this meme is overbought and no one really cares about it. And so I'm going to get out. And so it's kind of this like attaching attention and value together in one item. And so, I'm not worried about too many meme coins. I'm worried that we don't have enough to do with meme coins. There's no, other than just like going on an exchange and gambling on them, there's no like fun way to interact. So to me, thinking about them through this almost like hashtag lens or like tokenized attention lens helps me think, okay, that's a feature of a bigger product, right? That's a feature of something that still isn't built yet. And so I think it's fun to see the meme coins kind of, just being built out loud. We're building the plane as we fly it in the entire crypto space. But I think there needs to be more tools, more ways to interact with these meme coins in a way that it kind of makes sense. So I think the future is unwritten, but that's kind of the way I'm thinking about the oversaturation issue.
The future is unwritten. I like it. I like your concept here of the attention plus value. How do you accrue that attention plus value into something that hasn't built yet, and build that as part of your Cupcake Culturefy, evolution platform?
Yeah, there's a lot of options. I look at like a company called Pump.fund. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they are, kind of capitalizing on all the hype and excitement around meme coins. And they've built some really innovative launch mechanics where you can launch your own meme coin, but it doesn't fully launch until it reaches a certain amount of interest or engagement, and people on their platform are liking, they're commenting, they're, before the meme coin officially, goes live on platforms like Radium, you can kind of have this incubation period to see if the meme is worth, really publishing. And I like that idea, right? That's starting to build infrastructure around meme coins. That's starting to get to a safer, more fair launch structure. And I think that's, maybe that's a piece of this, overall meme coin infrastructure puzzle. And I think to me, it's like the green shoots of CultureFi, right? Meme coins are like the first step on this CultureFi journey where cultural attention, links to, crypto token based value. So I think there's something huge there. I think it's early. We have explored a number of different ideas around how meme coins can play a bigger role on Cupcake. For now, we're launching with partners like Bonk. We talked about that earlier. We partnered with a crypto exchange called Cube. You can see it. I guess listeners won't be able to see it, but I'm in the Cube office right now, so you can see some Cube signs behind me. But they're a crypto exchange that has a bunch of really cool features, and they actually gave away tokens, USDC, Bonk, and Runes, actually Satoshi Nakamoto. They gave away tokens to Cupcake players who played their game on Cupcake and then referred over to Cube. They actually got tokens in their account. So for now, we're using tokens as rewards. We're partnering and launching a partnership with another meme coin called Motai. I think today or tomorrow, depending on when this episode comes out. And so that's another one. It's a meme coin. Again, similar to Bonk, they just want to propagate the meme, and they're giving away tokens to users on the Cupcake platform. So right now, pretty basic interaction with meme coins, but like we talked about with Bonk, there could be some more interesting token mechanics. Again, we're going to focus on the crypto curious around relatively simple mechanics. We're going to make it fun and friendly. But I still think that, whether it's staking, burning, liquidity pools, there's some interesting way that tokens could interact on a platform like Cupcake.
I do have to ask one simple question, which you and I overlook as something that's simple, but the crypto curious might not. And that is, they know what buy is, they know what sell is, they don't know what burn is. So, what is burning, and how does that play a role in what you do and what the industry is all about?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I don't want to give away too much alpha on what we have planned for Cupcake, but we're not calling it burn, we're calling it bake, right? And you got to bake your cupcakes in the oven. And what comes out of the oven when you burn or you bake your cupcakes, right? And I think that's the best way to do this is to make things feel more user friendly, make things feel more intuitive. I think when Napster came out and they were offering free music to everyone, they didn't say, "Hey, come download MP3s on our permissionless distributed sharing network." They said, "Hey, free music," right? And it was obvious. We all understand music. We all understand free. And so I think there's kind of a gap. Crypto sometimes shoots itself in the foot with all these complicated terms and NFTs and SPLs and 404s and ERC20s. And we need it, right? We need language to talk about the technology, but we need better marketers that can, tell a clearer story to consumers in ways that they're, familiar with. And so for us, we're just going to continue to try and abstract away all those complex things, give them sort of real world metaphors, give them some sort of nice wrapper that feels familiar to end users. And then the blockchain is handled on the back end. Again, we don't talk about HTTP, we talk about websites. We don't talk about MP3s, we talk about music. We don't talk about NFTs, we talk about cupcakes, right? And I think that's the future we're building towards.
That and the fact that a baked cupcake sounds a lot better to me than a burnt one.
Yeah, exactly. It's even more appealing. Yeah, you're nailing it.
Sounds good. And I like the fact that the future of finance isn't just finance. So, yeah. So I want to thank you very much for your time today. I enjoyed speaking with you and learning about what you're up to. And I'm going to keep a closer eye on this whole space. I do have one last question, and it is, how can people find out more information about you, about Cupcake? How can they play? How can they burn cupcakes? How can they do any of that?
Awesome. Yeah, this is the best part of the conversation. It is just cupcake.com. Go to cupcake.com. You can get playing games right away. We're on Twitter at Cupcake Protocol, and I'm on Twitter at Chris Liquid, just my name. So yeah, no, really appreciate you having me on, Jamil. And would love to have more players. This is a game. This is a fun social game that you can share with your friends. So for everyone who's got those friends that are curious but kind of look at you like you're crazy because they're just not in the crypto culture the way you are, share them a cupcake because that is the only way that we can bridge that gap and build this industry, build towards the vision. I think anyone who's excited about crypto kind of sees in their brain. So let's do it together.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time today.
Cheers. Thanks, Jamil.